All right, let's go here. So, do. Okay, question. Here we go. Abortion, when the woman's life is not threatened, should always be illegal. I strongly disagree. All authority should be questioned. Strongly agree. By questioned, I would infer held to account. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Strongly disagree. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. I disagree. I think museums, especially, should not be the preserve of the wealthy. It's important that everyone has an access to culture. So, yeah. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. I disagree. As much as I also understand the point of view where people say, hey, if I can pass all the tests and do the work, why do I have to turn up? The fact is, there's more to school than passing a test and doing the homework. So, yeah. Right. All people have their rights, but it is better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep their own kind. Strongly disagree. People can do whatever the fuck they want as long as they're not hurting anybody. Right. Good parents sometimes have to spank their children. Wow, is that ever a loaded question? All right, because I don't believe that spanking your children necessarily makes you a bad parent by by that one thing, I'll have to say that I agree. But I don't think it's necessary to spank your kids. I think that different kids may benefit from it. It depends on the level of spanking and stuff as well. I wouldn't never, ever, ever, ever sanction someone hitting their child with an implement, for example, or hitting their child more than once, or hitting their child without warning them, etc., etc., etc. I mean, there's so many fucking caveats that, so yeah. All right. It's natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. I agree. Absolutely. In fact, I strongly agree. Of course, it's natural. You don't want your parents to know everything about you. Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offense. I strongly agree. Um, I agree with Derek. It shouldn't even be an offense to sell it as long as you. That's why it should be legal so it can be regulated. Right, next question. The prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to find jobs. Not just find jobs, but to make a strong society. But I strongly agree with that. Finding jobs is part of that. Right, people with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce. I disagree. I think there may be exceptions to that, but to have that as just a blanket rule, no, I can't agree with that. The most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline. I disagree. There's lots more important things than discipline, although discipline is a part of raising kids. And kids need to have an authority figure in their life, and they need to have some respect for their authority figure. Otherwise, the authority isn't authority at all. It's something else. There are no savage and civilized peoples. There are only different cultures. God, I hate the way these are loaded so badly. Savage. There are no savage and civilized peoples. There are only different cultures. I agree. Um, I can't get down with that language, and I'm not going to pander to it just because I don't, no, fuck it. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support. Who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support. Um, well, yeah, it's kinda. If you're able to work and you just don't want to, and you want to doss around on benefits the whole time, I could fully understand why any working person who pays their taxes would object to that. And I don't think that it's necessarily a good thing for people to be dependent on the state. So yeah, I have to agree. I've been the recipient of benefits plenty of times since I've lived in Britain. And I've also been the recipient of charity in this country, and it can become a trap if you're not careful. So it's important that you only use it if you absolutely have to. Right. When you are troubled, it is better not to think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things. Well, if that means just well in denial, I would disagree. But just the way this is worded, when you are troubled, it is better not to think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things. Well, it depends on what you're troubled by. I mean, are you just troubled, or do you have a problem? I mean, if you have a problem, then it's better to solve it. If you're just troubled, have a cup of tea. I'll agree because the question doesn't necessarily seem to infer problems. Right. First generation immigrants can never be fully integrated within their new country. I disagree. I'm an immigrant to this country, and a lot of people here seem to think I'm local now because I've integrated so much. Right. What's good for the most successful corporations is always ultimately good for all of us. I strongly disagree because of the word always and ultimately. Um, you know, uh, I'm all for economic advancement, and corporations drive a little bit of that, if not a lot. But you know what? Not at any price. No, some things come with too high a price. Right. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. I disagree. Um, I think the BBC does worthwhile things, and the fact they don't have a profit motive, uh, off and on throughout its history, and just in the 20 years that I've lived in this country, has meant that we get a kind of programming that probably, if it was profit driven alone, would never, ever, 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 ever get made. And I think that has a lot of value. There's an awful lot of science and nature programming, for example, that the BBC has done that is truly a public service. Right, here we go. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. How could I disagree with that? I strongly agree. Again, just in the past, say, 10 to 15 years in this country, I can feel the reduction of rights. Okay, a significant advantage of one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments that delay progress in a democratic political system. Yeah, let's vote for dictatorship. No, I strongly disagree, of course. That's a funny one, man. Okay. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. Strongly disagree. I hate the surveillance society, and I don't think that you should treat innocent people as guilty. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. I strongly disagree. I'm against the death penalty in all circumstances for all crimes. Right. In a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded. I strongly disagree. I'm not saying that's not how it works out, but I'm saying that it doesn't have to be that way.